All right, there we go. Live on Periscope. Hello. And we're live on YouTube too. All right. Get in the clip there. Oh, come on. Hello. How you doing? Welcome. That's just not going to work. Periscope. Sorry. The phone doesn't want to stay up. There we go. There. All right, there we go. We are now live. This is the August 2018 edition of Ask aois21 on the 21st monthly webcast where I, Keith F. Sheldon, publisher of aois21 Media, take your questions on basically anything you want to talk about when it comes to storytelling. We start as a e-publishing company, expanded to regular publishing, then podcasts and video series. And we started this webcast a few years ago as a way of reaching out to self-published authors and creators, content creators, and we're here. It's telling me that there are old comments, but I didn't see any comments. Okay. So if you have any questions on Periscope, you can just type them in and I'll see them pop up on the screen, hopefully. On YouTube, I have the chat window open. You can go ahead and send that. Or if you're watching and you just want to send those messages along via another way, you can tweet to us at aois21. You can use the hashtag AskAois21 and we will see that as well. So whichever you want to do, now's the time to reach out to us. It is August 2018. This video, when we're done, will be posted to the aois21 YouTube channel. And from there, who knows, whatever you want to see. And it will get shared on the aois21 YouTube channel and video.aois21.com. And we'll be sharing the YouTube feed, unless the Periscope feed seems to go a lot longer, because sometimes we do an extended edition. Let me see, making sure we're sharing this properly across all the various social media platforms. Yep. Okay, good on Twitter. Huh. Oh, somehow Facebook got moved. Okay. Okay, and share it again on Facebook page. Huh, that's weird. How did it come up in Spanish? Okay. Let's see, nothing. No one's shown up yet on Periscope. That's interesting, because Periscope usually gets our most. Huh. Okay, somehow I have Facebook open twice. Oh, that answers that question. All right, I know this is scintillating video watching, people. Okay, sorry. Was just looking at one of our creatives. His father was mugged last night. That's not good. Okay, so it is August 2018. We're in the lull right now as far as events. We had our poetry open mic this past Friday night at Walls of Books. And we don't have any big events coming up until October. We decided to pass on a couple book fairs in September we were looking at. So October we have the Western Maryland Independent Literature Festival in Frostburg at Frostburg State University in Maryland. We have the Fall for the Book Festival at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. And then we've got the Blue Ridge Writers Festival in Charlottesville, Virginia. Those are all things we've been to before. We've gone to Frostburg twice now. We've had to skip it last year because it was the same day as Fall for the Book. We've also done Fall for the Book twice now. Once several years ago, and then again, then they took a year off from having, they had the festival, but they didn't have a book fair section. And then they brought it back last year. It was a little bit poorly designed, but they still did it. So then we were back, and then they're having us back again this year. And then the Blue Ridge Writers Festival is in its officially second year, actual third year. It started 2 years ago as just a gathering for members of the Blue Ridge chapter of the Virginia Writers Club. And then last year it became the fully fledged Charlottesville Book Festival. So now it's renamed as the Blue Ridge Writers Festival, and it'll be down in Charlottesville. So hello, welcome. Oh, thank you for the hearts. That's very nice of you. So we've been operating for over 4 years now. We've been doing these webcasts for a couple years now. Usually I will pick a subject to talk about, but then open it up to questions. Anytime you have any questions about storytelling, writing a book, producing a podcast, producing a video series, or if you have an idea for something and you want to bounce it off of me, go right ahead. My company currently has 20 books available from 15 authors, 11 podcast series up and running, and 5 video series, including the one you're watching right now. So we've done a lot of storytelling. We've dealt with a lot. We have with the 15 different creatives. That's a lot of different people that have their own thoughts and processes and setup and their own motivations and their own personal individual backgrounds. We have a very interesting, diverse background of creatives. So everybody brings something different to it. Oh, okay. Another person watching. Welcome. All right, suddenly on Periscope, we got people watching. Fantastic. Thank you. But send along your questions. If you don't have any questions, well, let's just start with, and I personally listen to about 20, 25 different podcasts. You regularly check out a couple different video series on YouTube, and I'm reading. Last week, I read 5 books. No, I was busy last week. Busy reading. And usually I get to 1 or 2 books a week, mainly audiobooks, but still, I'm a voracious reader. I love getting my hands on new books and diving into stories. So tell me what you're reading. What are you listening to? What are you watching? Other than me right now. But I want to hear. I want to hear what types of stories you're seeing, you're hearing, you're reading. So feel free to send that along if you're watching on YouTube or in Periscope. Remember, you can tweet to us at aois21 or use the hashtag AskAS21, hashtag AskAS21, and I'll answer any questions you want to send along. I'm live tonight from Mount Vernon, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C. Last month, I think we had to cancel the webcast because I had a meeting the same night, another meeting the same night, and in June, we've had really bad torrential downpours regularly here in the D.C. area for the past couple months. And I believe one of the times I went to do the webcast and we lost power. So can't really do a webcast if you don't have power. Of course, we could have done Periscope, but it's not the same. Especially since I'd be sitting in the dark. Not good. Oh, welcome. Oh, all the hearts. I love the hearts. The hearts are great. Thank you. But please send along questions. Let me know what you're reading. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What's your favorite podcast right now? What's your favorite video series on YouTube or Vimeo or any other video service out there? It doesn't have to stay limited to YouTube. And I know there's a few more out there. I personally pretty much stick to YouTube for all my stuff because all the big content creators I like are on there. I'm not a YouTube Red subscriber, but I do regularly check out quite a few different feeds on YouTube. All right, well, let's talk about YouTube video series. It's been a very interesting thing to watch. I mean, YouTube Red is obviously no-brainer that they had to go into actual programming. They had done an attempt at programming at first. Hold on, I'm getting a message. Hold on, I'll be right back with Periscope. Okay, didn't lose you, did I? All right, I'm back. Sorry, just someone who wanted to watch. Had to send a link. Okay, so let me think. Video series. It was interesting how YouTube grew it because it started out just people posting random stuff. Then people started creating their own series. Some were scripted, some were random, and it's things like unboxing videos, things like try different reviews of restaurants and toys and video games and all that stuff. But then you've got more and more scripted stuff, and then they tried actually launching channels within YouTube. I remember they gave Geek and Sundry, which is the channel that was run by Felicia Day, and Nerdist run by Chris Hardwick. They had a few others where people were given the opportunities to create programming for YouTube and really try to boost subscription and boost advertising. I don't believe they're as active on that anymore, but they definitely have moved very, very strongly into creating their own content with YouTube Red. I keep hearing good things about Cobra Kai. I haven't checked it out yet, but like I said, I'm not a YouTube Red subscriber. Now, I have been watching some series on YouTube over the years. There's some podcasts I listen to that do YouTube videos, like Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Release some of their episodes on YouTube. There's a series out of my hometown of Pittsburgh, PA, called Pittsburgh Dad that I usually watch, but I actually don't often watch it on YouTube because they also post them onto Facebook. And so most of the time I'm on the Facebook page. I'm on Facebook and the new episodes will pop up on the wall and I'll watch it there. But there are a couple other series like Honest Movie Trailers and let me think what else. I'm a fan of the sci-fi show Doctor Who, so I definitely follow the Doctor Who YouTube channel, and whenever they post new things, especially if it's trailers or deep dives or analyses of some of the episodes. There's a lot of interesting stuff on YouTube. It's amazing. Now, my oldest daughter is really, really a big fan of watching YouTube videos. She has gotten to be a fan of a couple different channels where it's like there's one family of, I believe, 4 kids, one boy and 3 girls. And they have this big house. And so they would do all kinds of different videos of like going to the park or going to water park, or they would build a box maze in their house with all kinds of fun things. They do hide and seek videos. They would do videos in which the 3 daughters would act like they have been replaced by dolls and, move the dolls around and talk over them. And it's just this interesting. And then there are others where it's people who seemingly have a much higher budget than some families, including my own, getting a huge amount of toys and trying them out, and like having a Christmas episode where the kid gets to unwrap a few $1,000s worth of toys. But then there's also things like she was really into mermaid videos at one point. So she found a video on YouTube of a girl in a fake mermaid tail acting like she was real. And of course, that was just the best thing ever for her. And she watched that a couple dozen times. So it's just kind of interesting how YouTube has really opened up the ability for people to make videos and put some really quality stuff out there. And when you think back to when it launched, I think that was, what, 14 years ago, 2004? Thanks, babe. When it was basically people just filming themselves at different places. Now that's what Periscope has been too, and Periscope is launched by Twitter. Launched by Twitter. Yeah, launched by Twitter is trying to share videos, but it's supposed to be live streaming. I know when it started out, it was a great thing being able to watch people like live streaming, walking up, climbing mountains, or like I would watch as people would just on my way to work in downtown Dublin and just, cell phone in their pocket, live streaming. And I did that a few times too. I've done that live streaming, driving around Washington, D.C., walking around. Done a few times with different things. Like, it's been interesting because I've gotten off hours. Like I ride the train into the city, so I've actually put it on the train and coming in and had a lot of people watching, going over the old rickety train bridge over the Potomac River. Oh, I seem to have lost most of my viewers. And nobody's asking any questions. That's really disappointing. But yeah, it's been very interesting watching how YouTube has evolved. And it's been good and bad because I've seen things like there was a problem in the Coast Guard where they were commissioning new cutters for the national security cutter. And it ended up having all kinds of faults in it. So a person who worked on the design and construction team did a whistleblower video and put it out there on YouTube and got millions of hits. And it ended up leading into a congressional investigation. And they realized that there were major deficiencies in the ship and it could cost lives of coasties. So that this guy speaking out and using YouTube was able to save potentially dozens or hundreds of lives. And then, of course, there's been bad. There's been, TMZ and videos of people violating their privacy and, following celebrities around, or people who film videos of people sneaking and viewing them in their homes against their wishes. But that's kind of the thing about new technology. You got to get the good with the bad. And you look back through the past few years of development, so many times you had some sort of new media come about, and you would have one of the driving forces behind it, unfortunately, would be pornography, whether that be the internet or videotapes or any number of things. Not that the pornography is bad, of course. But for our purposes, for us at aois21, we're all about telling stories, and YouTube has been an excellent way for us to tell stories because we've been able to do our author interview series, Creative Speaking, where we have our authors get a set list of questions and we break it up over time to release them all out. So you get to really know our authors beyond just seeing their books. Or who knows, maybe you watch the interviews and like what you're hearing and then decide to pick up the books. So it's Now, as far as some of the other things that we've done, we have our live events, and sometimes we do interview people there, or we tried doing a Comic-Con one year. We did cosplay stories where we're interviewing cosplayers and getting them to show off their costumes. We've done setup videos and teardown videos at different events, so you kind of see how some of these exhibit tables come together. So a lot of times you go to these events and you just see elaborate setups and They don't just appear out of magic. People work hard to put them together. And ours isn't that involved, but it still can be interesting. Now, unfortunately, I've seen our most popular video series has been aois21 Unboxed, which is purely us unboxing orders from, printers or suppliers of some vendors of some sort, whether it be like Vistaprint with promotional materials, or Lulu or local printers with books they're sending us, National Pen Company. Those are all available on our YouTube channel and video.aois21.com. But you wouldn't expect just watching people open up a box would get people's attention, but it does. So I don't know, is it the voyeurism of looking in someone else's mail? Or is it just that whole surprise, especially with some things, of not knowing what's inside and wanting to live with the, experience that with the person? As always, feel free to send in any video series, books, or podcasts you're watching, listening to, reading. Love to hear about it. And of course, always any questions about writing, publishing, podcasting, recording, production. I'm here to help, not just ramble on about the changes in YouTube. It's a Q&A, so right now I've just been doing long answers to questions not asked. Let me check Twitter real quick, because you never know when Twitter might sneak up on you. What? Okay. That was weird. No, that was just one of my creatives noting a player getting traded, surprisingly. Okay, nothing under the hashtag, no tweets to aois21. So once again, on Periscope, it's up to you. You guys are the ones watching right now. I've been told the times that there are people watching on YouTube, but it never gives me an accurate viewer count. It usually always says 0. And then, of course, this will be shared on the aois21 YouTube channel and video.aois21.com after I'm done here. So if you have any questions after I'm done here, obviously you can't comment on the video to get me to answer, but you can comment and maybe I'll look at them and be able to reply in some other way. Or, of course, you can just wait till next month. It's September 21st. I believe it's a Thursday night. Yeah. We're not going to be able to do it next September, on September 21st, because I have another meeting the same night that doesn't wrap until 9 o'clock. And it could even go later than that. So we'll probably be back in October, at which point we'll be right in the middle of book fair, the fall book fair season. Where did my count go? Oh, down. Let's see, October. 21st is a Sunday. Okay, yeah, we should be around that. Why are none of the book fairs on the calendar? How to fix that? Okay, well, it is 8:57. Typically, I do this talk for 30 minutes, from 8:30 to 9. Got started a little bit late tonight. And since there doesn't seem to be any questions coming in, and it's mostly me droning on about YouTube series, I think it's probably time to cut this one short. Not really short, but, slightly short.
Hey, Keith. Microsoft updates available.
That's one thing. I'll have to work on that later. All right, so last call. Any questions or want to share any books you're reading, any podcasts you're listening to, or video series you're watching? Now's your last chance. It's currently 8:58 here on the East Coast. Usually we wrap this up at 9. And sometimes we've gone longer on Periscope because, as well, what's happened before is the battery power is sunk real low on the laptop here, but the phone's done fine. So I've been able to keep going on Periscope longer than on YouTube. Another person watching, welcome. Oh, thank you for the hearts. That's always nice. Hearts are good. I like the hearts. Shows up well when other people seem interested in watching us because they see all the hearts that we've gotten. And of course, we'll be doing live stream events in October. We'll try to do live stream at Frostburg, at Fall for the Book, and at Charlottesville. And there will be a special webcast next month, not on the 21st. Not on the 21st, but on the 25th of September. And the reason is that's National Voter Registration Day. We're going to be announcing in our email tomorrow, so you're getting a sneak peek right now, that National Voter Registration Day is a commitment by several organizations and companies to get as many people registered to vote. We've got the midterm elections this year. The entire House of Representatives is up for re-election. 1/3 of the Senate is up for re-election. About 12 governors' races are up for re-election. State houses, state senates, city councils, all the way down. All of these races matter. Every vote counts, except the one you don't make. So if you're not registered to vote, get registered now. You have, usually most jurisdictions, you have up until a month before Election Day to register. Election Day is November 8th this year. Yeah. So right now is the time to register. If not, I'm going to be berating everyone, whether it be on Literally This Week podcast, or Publish Me podcast, or on this video series, or in our weekly emails. But we're trying to get as many people motivated, registered to vote as possible so that your voice can be heard. Recent results have shown that in the most recent general elections, including 2016, where President Trump was elected, only about 30% of the electorate showed up and voted. 1/3 of you have 330 million people in the United States. So get as many people committed and voting as possible. Now, of that 1/3, that's actually, no, that was 1/3 of registered voters, not even 1/3 of the overall populace. So we'll be doing a webcast on Tuesday night, September 25th. I'll be broadcasting from actually the Outer Banks in North Carolina. But we'll be talking about voters and voting stories and getting people committed to voting. I'll be sharing links to different places where you can find information about registering to vote. You'll be sharing information about the different races available. It's all going to be completely nonpartisan. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not going to talk about any of the issues that matter to me or matter to you. The only issue that matters is your right to vote. And as long as you have that right to vote, if you're over the age of 18 in the United States, if you're not convicted of a major crime, if you haven't had your voting rights taken from you for any reason, then it's entirely on you to get out there and vote, to let your voice be heard. Here at aois21, we're always about letting people's voices be heard. Let your stories out. Do the things to help your stories, help your voice get out there, get your life out there. And that's writing your book, producing your podcast, filming your video series, and voting. Talking about it on social media isn't enough if you don't get out there and vote. You can only complain so much about what the government is and isn't doing if you don't get out there and vote. As President Obama said in 2016, don't boo, vote. So voter registration is open now in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. If you are not registered to vote, get on that, because you're going to want to be ready. You're going to want to plan. Election day is going to be busy this year. It's going to be one of the biggest turnouts for a midterm election in a while. at least from what I'm seeing on all the forecasts, based purely on the huge numbers of people that have turned up for the primary elections. So you want to get registered to vote as soon as possible. You do not want to get stuck on election day with a provisional ballot, because you may be at the polling place forever. And really, it shouldn't need to take that long. You should be able to get in, vote, get out, and be all good. Do your civic duty. Let your voice be heard. Show that your vote matters. Show that when it was time for people to put up or shut up, you put up. So, all right, that's enough pontificating on that now. So, National Voter Registration Day is September 25th. So that's the next webcast that we'll be doing. And we'll be talking about voting stories of voters, where to sign up to vote, the different races that are available. And once again, completely nonpartisan, not espousing any specific allegiance, political party, any positions, other than making sure that everyone that has the right to vote gets out and vote. I think it's rather cold in Russia. That's all I have to say about that. All right, so it's a little bit after 9 here on the East Coast. I tend to agree with you on that. I live in DC, so I see a lot of these things firsthand. All right, now that people are actually commenting, okay, now I can stick around. So what? And obviously, I don't want this whole webcast to be talking about politics, because we're here to talk about books, podcasts, and video series. So if you're talking, might as well tell me, what are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Not just me. Or if you have your own ideas for a book, a podcast, or a video series, and you want to run it by someone who produces them. Favorite ebook format? Personally, I'm partial to just basic EPUB. I've messed around with Mobi and MZE, and they don't really work as well. And plus, EPUB, once you put it up there, it's good on almost every e-reader except for the Kindle, because Amazon has to be special. Now, I'm more looking forward to the point where where ebooks really, truly take advantage of all the things that are available to it, where you could have a truly good digital book that could bounce back and forth between print and audio and other visual things. Good Caliber's good software. That's what we use to do all of our ebooks. You can do it not just Kindle, but EPUB and all that. Make sure you check your settings on output settings to make sure that your book is absolutely optimized to the most recent Kindle version. We had been using Mobi, but of course Kindle has switched over to MZE. It's pretty good output. My kids have Kindles. I don't personally have one. Oh yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to give tips. So yeah, make sure when you're doing the profile that it's optimized to the most recent Kindle software. And yeah, Mobi, all earlier Kindles use Mobi. All the newer ones here use MZE. Personally, I'm one of those people who wants to have the books available to the widest audience possible. So that's why we produce all our books for Amazon as a Mobi file, because then I know it will work on old Kindles and new Kindles. If you do MZE, it'll only work on the newest Kindles. So, and of course, if you upload it to Amazon, they'll automatically convert it. But, oh God, yeah. Yeah, e-ink is an extreme disappointment. But overall, ebooks have been very disappointing. People just haven't adopted it the way you expected them to. And in fact, I just saw the report that of all the physical media out there, print books are the only market that's actually increasing in sales. CDs, gone. DVDs, gone. Software on CDs, DVDs, or discs, gone. Books, still going. I'm still buying books, but I'm also borrowing audiobooks. I go to Audible. By the way, aois21 podcasts are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/aois21 and get your first month of Audible for free and choose from 180,000 titles. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. All right, any other thoughts or questions? Oh, congrats. Yeah, I got a pretty good vinyl collection here. You're like Harry Belafonte. I have a record store here in Springfield, Virginia that sells 45s for 45 cents. So I would go there with my kids and pick out 45s and, get 2 or 3 at a time. It's a pretty good deal at 45 cents a piece. Let's see. Let's see. That one's on the player. And they're on the other side of this. So, okay. But yeah, definitely vinyl is just it's such a unique sound. It's so much better than digital sometimes. Not really easy. I mean, if you're not careful with it, yeah. And of course, you got to keep it in a cool, dry place. If it gets too hot where you're storing them, the vinyl can melt. But it's extreme temperatures, really. But yeah, it can scratch. You got to be watching for dirt on it as well. I mean, but if you just clean it very easily, it's not too much of a problem. Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of vinyl. I was a big fan of tape cassettes back when they were popular, and of course, they did not age well. I remember when you had mini discs come out, and people were switching over to mini discs. And that seemed like an interesting idea. Thankfully, I never invested in that because I ended up being a waste of money, just like Laserdisc for movies. Then I did get into MP3 CDs for a while. I actually have an MP3 CD player around here somewhere. And I would make an MP3 CD with 180 songs on it, which is very convenient. And then, of course, the next time I had the chance to work overtime at my job, I bought my first iPod, and then I didn't need MP3 CDs anymore. It's kind of amazing how the media has continued to grow. But it has been very disappointing with the ebook market. When we originally launched, our whole goal was to truly help with the ebook market and make it grow. We still have one way that we're working, that we're hoping to get more people interested in it, and that's we have pioneered the sale of ebooks on USB flash drives. I don't have it sitting close by, but what we did was just like how you have DVD extras on your DVDs, and of course now on streaming they added these, but you would be able to get an ebook on a USB flash drive from us in person at a book event or a bookstore. And on the disc, on the USB flash drive, not only would you have the ebook in all the formats, EPUB, MOBI, PDF, but then you would also have special extras. Like we would have author interviews. If it's a book of poetry, you would have the audio of the author reading it. All with the idea that when we did eventually get into audiobook production as well, we'd be able to put audiobooks on these flash drives. But so far, the market hasn't been too interested in picking up because of the fact we aren't exactly a known quantity. There's question over the safety of the USB flash drives. I mean, it would be, they're branded with my company's name on it. It would be bad for business for us to sell flash drives with spyware or keyloggers or anything on it. All that's on there are the books themselves, and then those extra things, the cover, also author interviews, book trailers, audio files of readings from the books. That's the type of stuff that we're finding that people are interested in, and it gives you a little bit more. Because imagine you're sitting down to read a book, and you're reading an ebook. You were able to get it on this flash drive, plug it into your computer, transfer, read it on your computer, transfer to an e-reader. But then on there, you also could watch the book trailer, or you could quickly bring up an interview with the author, talking about why she or he wrote that book and what was the story behind it. That's the type of thing that we're really trying to push, and unfortunately the ebook market has not grown in the way we're expecting it to. Oh, I see. Oh, finally, it does show that we have someone watching on YouTube. Fantastic. Welcome. So we're at 40 minutes now of a usual 30-minute webcast. Yes, I read Of Mice and Men back in high school. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. Good book. What do you think of it? Of the Mice of Men. Is that different from Of Mice and Men? Because I've read Of Mice and Men. I don't know of the Mice of Men. And I've read a lot. I've read 57 books so far this year. My Goodreads reader challenge, I'm trying to get to 100. I got a little bit behind, but I read 5 books last week, so I'm moving faster. I'm catching up. Currently, I'm reading through Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. Really, really digging it. I'm about 6 chapters into it. It's really enjoying it. In fact, it's inspired me to sit down and start writing a poem that hopefully will be included in this year's aois21 annual. See, there's something else I should have brought up I didn't already. We're currently taking submissions for the 2018 aois21 annual. It's our literary magazine we put out every fall. We take poetry, short stories, essays, photography, art, and audio and video pieces because it is an e-magazine. We produce it through Apple iBook Author and create this fully immersive EPUB magazine. And then we put it up on iTunes and then also kick it onto Kindle. And it's our way of finding great stories out there that are more than just the stuff by our authors, but people that just have little pieces here and there that you're trying to share. But, we are able to put out short stories, poetry, excerpts from new books coming out, all manner of things to try to help people get their stories out there, because I keep saying that's what we are all about here at aois21, is finding great stories and helping share them with the world. So we started the literary magazine. Actually, our first Kickstarter campaign back in 2004 was to launch the magazine, and with a goal of 5 years of production. This is our 5th year, so this is actually our final year of production. Did I say 2004, 2014? Should have said 2014. This is our final year of production because we launched it originally as print with an e-book, on electronic as well, and saw no sales of print. Pretty much all the print copies would only be sold to people who had submitted buying copies for family. So then we switched to doing electronic only, and then of course sales went even lower. And now, so after 5 years, we kind of fulfilled our promise with the original Kickstarter. And so submissions have been down. We haven't been happy with how things have gone. So this is our last edition of the aois21 annual. It'll be coming out in October. But submissions are open now. You have until the end of August. We might end up extending it based on right now we haven't gotten a lot of submissions in. But if you have some poetry, short stories, essays, photography, art, or an audio video piece that you want to submit, please send it along. We would love to have it. So go to aois21.com. That's aois21.com/annual. And that's where we have our submission standards. We cannot publish or print something that has already appeared in another literary magazine, journal, or website. So if it's a short story you wrote on your blog, I'm sorry, we can't use it. It has to be something that would be original, new. We always have to be watch out for copyright protection, fair use. But if you have something, if you're a creative person, if you have something that you've created and you are just looking for a way to share it, why not take a look at our annual literary magazine, and hopefully we can help work with you. We provide free editing, free review, and then we release it. And of course, as soon as it's released, the copyright reverts to you. You're free to do whatever you want. We have no rights to your work after it's been published. It will just be part of our magazine. So, all right, so I now have it as 9:18 p.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. No, the viewer on YouTube has gone away. No more questions there. Checking again on the Twitter. Man, I sound old when I say the Twitter. All right, no other tweets. No messages with the hashtag. Okay, so last call, 9:18. Any last questions you have? Any other comments you want to make? I'm Keith F. Shelvin, publisher of aois21 Media, based out of Mount Vernon, Virginia. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? All right, well. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you for watching. If you want to go back and watch this video talk from the beginning, it'll be posted on the aois21 YouTube page. That's youtube.com/aois21 under the playlist of Ask aois21. It will also be available on our webpage, video.aois21.com, on the Ask aois21 web series page. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your questions and your comments. I'm grateful. Periscope, once again, you guys come through for me. And yeah, we'll be back September 25th to talk voter registration, and then hopefully back October 21st with a full live episode. So yes, thank you for all the hearts. You guys are the best. And all right, this is Keith F. Shelvin from aois21 Media signing off. Bye, YouTube.